Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 11, text number 24. Na chete putraka brato hantaro danadanugaha visargadanayostata pumso daivam hi karanam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. My dear son, those yakshas who are descendants of Kuvera are not actually the killers of your brother. The birth and death of every living entity are caused by the Supreme, who is certainly the cause of all causes. Text 25. Sa eva vishvam srajati sa eva vatihanti cha atapihi anankaran najyate gunas karma vihi. The Supreme Personality of Godhead creates this material world, maintains it and annihilates it in due course of time. But because he is transcendental to such activities, he is never affected by ego in such action or by the modes of material nature. Purport. In this verse, the word anahankara means without ego. The conditioned soul has a false ego, and as a result of his karma, he gets different types of bodies in the material world. Sometimes he gets the body of a demigod, and he thinks that the body to be his identity. Similarly, when he gets the body of a dog, he identifies himself with that body. But for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no such a distinction between body and the soul. Bhagavad Gita therefore certifies that anyone who thinks of Krishna as an ordinary human being is without knowledge of his transcendental nature and is a great fool. The Lord says, Nama karmani limpanti. He is not affected by anything he does because he is never contaminated by the material modes of nature. That we have a material body proves that we are infected by the three modes of material nature. The Lord says to Arjuna, you and I had many births previously. I remember everything, whereas you do not. That is the difference between the living entity or the conditioned soul and the Supreme Soul. The Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has no material body, and because he has no material body, he is not affected by any work he executes. There are many Mayavadi philosophers who consider Krishna's body is the effect of a concentration of material mode of goodness, and they distinguish Krishna's soul from Krishna's body. The real situation, however, is that the body of the conditioned soul, even if he has a large accumulation of material goodness, is material, whereas Krishna's body is never material, it is transcendental. Krishna has no false ego, for he does not identify himself with the false and temporary body. His body is always eternal. He descends to this world in his own original spiritual body. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita as Parambhavam. The words Parambhavam and Divyam are especially significant in understanding Krishna's personality. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, the nature of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Living Entity, as compared to the nature of the tiny living entity is revealed here by Swambhuva Manu to Dhruva Maharaj. First he says that these yakshas are not actually the killers of your brother, because the ultimate cause of all causes, the Supreme, He has determined their birth and death. And the Supreme Lord creates this material world, maintains it, and annihilates it in the course of time. So whatever activity He is doing here also, as in His incarnation, they are all transcendental. And He never affected by a false ego. If we have to act in this world, we have to engage in false egoing. I am this body, then I am the enjoyer of this body. I am the enjoyer of everything that this body can capture, acquire, control. So that kind of a false ego is required to be, to see, to desire, to think, to feel, to will, and to do something in this material world. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. So even that also, that ahankara also is not required to move the material energy. That ahankara is self-centered. For the purpose of self-centered Satya Chitta and Ananda, the living entity experiences seeing, doing, desiring, thinking, feeling, willing, everything. Even those activities of the material nature is carried out by the three modes of material nature. According to type of false ego you have, false ego in the mode of goodness, false ego in the mode of passion, false ego in the mode of tamoguna. According to the kind of egoing you want, you get different kinds of thoughts, feelings, etc. So that is the way in which our material body works. Material body by itself does not have any life symptoms. Material body itself, material body, mind, intelligence, false ego itself does not have a characteristic of a person. Just like artificial intelligence does not have personhood characteristics. What is personhood characteristic? There's a person who thinks that intelligence is his. So there is no person in that intelligence, artificial intelligence. There is no person in the material body. There is no personality. There is no characteristic qualities of a person in mind-body system. It is a soul who has the qualities and spirit energies to be an ego, to see it as that ego, to think as that ego, feel as that ego, will as that ego, do as that ego. All gross and psychological activities which are symptoms of a living entity, they all belong to Atma, belong to the soul. Now we are talking, now we are hearing, we are thinking, feeling, willing. We are using our mind, body system. No doubt, our material mind body system, we are using it. But that material mind body system gets the characteristic of thinking, feeling, willing, etc. because of the living entity's identification. How powerful it is. Simply he has to think, I am this body. Then all the soul's energies to think, feel and everything comes into this body. So that is why this ahankara is a cause for material existence. Ahankara is a cause for attracting the action of three modes of material nature. And ahankara, Prabhupada defines as I am this body. It is not simply I am this body, he also says I am the enjoyer. So false ego is a feeling, it's an ego feeling. Servant ego is another kind of feeling, ego feeling. So our original ego feeling is, I am an eternal servant of Krishna. We adopt a false ego feeling. You want the rasa of being independent is an ego feeling. It's all about feelings. It is not simply about concept. I am this body, this concept. No. I am this body. Yes, that is as far as thought is concerned. Why I am this body? I am body disconnected from Krishna. I am this body who I am this bodily person who wants to enjoy power, knowledge, love, pleasure, independent of Krishna. So that ego, that is false ego. Here it says anahankara. Anahankara means if somebody acts as a servant of Krishna, it is anahankara. If he acts as an independent enjoyer, independent existence, I have to take care of myself, I have to earn my pleasure, I have to earn my happiness, I have to do something for all these things, otherwise I will be deprived of my Satya Chitta and Ananda. That consciousness, that is ahankara. Because the soul is always seeking Sat Chit Ananda. Soul's nature is Satchidananda. Soul's nature, it is eternal, and the body is not eternal. So therefore he knows that he is not this body. But still how he thinks is his body? Because of primary free will is used to not be a servant of Krishna and be an independent person. So the soul has got that, marginal energy has got that freedom for false egoing. Egoing means ahanta and mamata. The soul has got the Shakti to say, this is me, I am this, and this is me, mine, everything, connection. existential ego, who I am, it has got the freedom to go into illusion. Who I am constitutionally is the eternal servant of Krishna, is Amsha of Krishna. But the living entity is got the potential to go on a trip that I am independent. So that is why if you see in the material world, everybody is living their lives in total forgetfulness of Krishna. It completely matches with this understanding. They are in forgetfulness of who they are. Who they are eternally, you ask them, they have no answer. Who I am, Mr. So-and-so, I am in this body, I am father and so, or son of so-and-so. That's all they can describe. Who you are eternally, you please tell me. Your body is changing continuously. But still you call yourself by the same name. But that is also illusion. Who are you permanently? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed, Jivere Surupoi, Nitya Krishnera Dasa. We are Amshas of Krishna. So, when you come to devotional service, we surrender to Krishna, means we surrender our ego to Krishna. I am not the master, I am your servant. You are my master, I am your servant. Therefore, my duty is to only serve you. You are my caretaker, you are my protector, you are my maintainer, you are my provider. I am only your servant. And this body is also given to me by you. I engage this body only to serve you. I will not misuse this body for serving an ahankara, an illusory I, which is like in a spiritual, just like here we dream in the spirit, we dream that I am this, I am that in the dream, and experience those things. I am a king, and I experience being a king, rasaying as a king, thinking, feeling, willing, everything. Exactly in the same way, I am misusing this body for thinking I am this body, and my pleasures are the body's pleasures. That is why we are not able to give up the bodily pleasures, because there is a belief that these pleasures are my pleasures. So a very deep pleasure belief is there. But it is only a belief, because belief means it's not necessarily true. Beliefs can be true or false. Belief is a belief. It's an ability of the living entity to either see the truth or see the illusion. So this ahankara is a belief about oneself. And that belief is situated in the material mind. So by always engaging or always egoing as a servant of Krishna, ego cannot be avoided. There is a pure ego. The soul has an ego. That pure soul's ego only is abused and is falsely egoing, haunted by a ghostly ego. So he is false egoing in this. All living entities in the material world are souls who have a spirit ego, and they are egoing in this material world, falsely egoing. In the spiritual world, we are purely egoing as servant of Krishna. And for such pure egoing as servant of Krishna, to serve the purposes, desires, and pleasures of Krishna, the internal energy gives us a pure Satchidananda body. The soul is also Satchidananda, the body also self-conscious body, Chinmaya Sharira. And it relishes devotional service of different relationship with the Supreme Lord, Nava Nava Rasa. This is spiritual existence. Forgetting Krishna, Krishna's relationship, immediately in the material world there is role play, false role play. So living entity has got the freedom to do false role play, falsely think, feel and will. That's all. The material existence. Anahankara, that means when we become free from that false ego, it can become free from false ego only if the real ego is awakened. And our devotion service in practice is meant for awakening the real ego. Real ego is that ego consciousness that I am servant of Krishna. That spiritual dignity that I am servant of Krishna, I am not this independent enjoyer. So as long as we continue egoing, then one body to another body to another body, according to laws of karma, so mercifully Krishna allows us to fulfill all our independent desires. And our desires are also conditioned. A dog cannot desire, I have to become the Prime Minister of India. But the dog can desire many other things. This is karma. Karma binds, even limits one's desires also. The body determines your capacity to desire, capacity to, or the nature of desiring, nature of appropriately, according to that desire, thinking, feeling, willing. Just see how much we are conditioned. The root cause of conditioning is identification with this mind-body system. Whereas, now come to Krishna. This verse is stating that Krishna is unaffected by any activities in this material world. He is transcendental to all these activities. Krishna is also a person, a living entity, but a supreme living entity. I am also a person. When I act in this material world, I get infected, my ego gets infected with ahankara. But here it is said that Krishna's ego does not get infected with ahankara. Why? Because Krishna's ego, the supreme ego, is a owner, is a real owner of everything. Everything is his energy. So he directly acts. He doesn't need ahankara to act in this material world. He directly acts. The living entity is also capable of directly acting, free from false ego. Krishna preaches in the Bhagavad Gita, act free from false ego. You can act directly. But if you have a self-enjoyment spirit, self-centered spirit, similarly there has to be an ahankara. Without ahankara, you cannot enjoy independence. That independence rasa, you cannot. Independent enjoyment, you cannot. But a pure devotee can also engage activities in his body and in this world without ahankara. I am this body, I am the enjoyer of this body is ahankara. I am eternal servant of Krishna, this body is a temporary instrument. This body is not the enjoyer. This bodily ego is a false ego. I should not indulge in bodily enjoyment by creating a false ego. All my activity, Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. I shall engage all my activities. So, just as Krishna does not get affected by activities in this material world, a pure devotee also, who acts on behalf of Krishna, he also is got immunity from the three modes of material nature. Everything becomes spiritual for a devotee. The moment he engages in pure devotion service, zero self-centered interest. From self-centered interest only false ego generates. The living entity, pure living entity is there. His constitutional position is Krishna-centered enjoyment. Like Prabhupada says, in the material world, in the spiritual world, it is like each living entity is like a circle. And then the center of all that circle is Krishna. So my circle does not overlap with your circle. Any number of circles. Each living entity is like a circle, but the center of that circle is Krishna. So the activity of the living entity is, let's say it's like a circle. So a circle has got so many points, so many activities, so many thinking, feeling, willing. Center is Krishna. When Krishna is the center, common center, then there is no overlap. The moment your center is not Krishna, self is the center, then your circle will interfere with other circles. In the material world, there are many centers of enjoyment. Each living entity has a center of enjoyment. So as per laws of karma, that is why that self-centered enjoyment means the soul itself is indulging in self-centered through a ahankara. Ahankara is a false ego, it is not a real ego. Ego means spirit. That false ego needs the real spirit to drive it. And that is why that I-ness, that the real ego identifies, unless the real ego identifies, yes, I am this body. Ahankara cannot come into existence. It modifies, ahankara modifies the identity of the real ego. Constitutional identity is there, as I am servant of Krishna. The Lord says, Namam karmani limpanti. He is not affected by anything he does, because he is never contaminated by the material modes of nature. What he does is all free. What he does is ever fresh activity. Nothing to do with the past, nothing to do with, out of sweet will, he is acting. Because he is the owner of everything. I take this body is not mine, but I am thinking it is mine. I am thinking this is my energy. It is not your energy. Krishna, seated in the heart, he is the supreme owner. As Prabhupada says, he is a proprietor and I am the tenant in this body. If you have to come into the material world, you need to get a house of material body, and that is this house. And to run this house, forgetting Krishna, you need to get into false egoing. You have to enjoy false egoing. Success, name, fame, independence. These are all ego pleasures. And then, even sense gratification, they're all, first maybe senses are getting pleasure, but who is the sense belong to? The false ego who is thinking this is my senses. So completely like a duplicate person, exactly how Krishna is in the spiritual world, is a supreme enjoyer of everything. The living entity wants independent enjoyment of power, independent enjoyment of knowledge, independent enjoyment of love and pleasure. Sat Chittana Ananda. Another point, Prabhupada, very important point he is saying where we should not get misguided, is that what is Mayavadi's stand on Krishna? So they say Krishna is like you are in a percentage, we are in a percentage of Sattva, Tamo, Rajoguna, our soul is affected by these things. Soul, first of all, soul is not a person for them. So the soul in Krishna's body, according to them, is experiencing high level of Sattva-guna, because Krishna's body is Sattva-guna. You see? And what is the truth? As it is revealed here, there is no difference between, there is no distinction between Supreme Personality of Godhead's body and his soul. The Mayavadis, they do not accept the absoluteness of energy. Therefore, they cannot accept the idea of a person also. What is the meaning in a person? Unless he has got energies to play around with. What is the use of a person if there is no rasa? Therefore, they say everything is impersonal. They have a logic. To fit that logic, they say, okay, Krishna's body is highly sattvic person is. When you get sattvic, when you become that sattvic, you can get all the powers, you can lift, go over them. Even you. You can, all the universal powers are in you. That is why he's so sattvic, he showed the universal form. All the power is in him, all knowledge is in him. Highly contaminating. Devotees don't even think of that. Only when reading Prabhupada's book they think. Oh, they think like that. Huh? Krishna is everything. Only Krishna and energy exists. This is Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. Everything is Krishna. Everything is Krishna, and Krishna is above everything as the energetic. All energy is Krishna. Why energy is Krishna? Because energy is coming from him. The cause is always in the effect. In the material world, I throw on marble, then the effect is moving. Marble is moving in the air. Got disconnected from the cause. In the spiritual world, in the absolute world, Krishna causes this material existence, eternally causing the spiritual existence. You cannot separate him from that. Eternally he is causing. Eternally he is causing. That is why he is called. He is the eternal owner of eternal energy, internal energy, marginal energy, external energy. So at no point of time, as far as Krishna is concerned, for him, there is nothing second to him to take a body. Now I am spirit, I am taking a material body. So something is not me I am taking. But for Krishna, everything is his energy. Even material energy. For us it is clouded, as disconnected from Krishna. But for Krishna is never disconnected. Not a blade of grass moves without his sanction. He is all pervading. Material existence is standing on his personality. Like pearls are strung on a thread. Entire existence, the connecting thread, is the transcendental presence of the Lord, all-pervading Lord in this world. So for him there is no difference between any body he takes. Just like take the holy name. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name, Shuddhanama. And for Shuddhanama, there is no difference between Shuddhanama and his effulgence, Shaktinama. And the Shakti is the plenary Shakti of the Lord, Lord Shakti. Therefore, when it enters a sound that we chant, if he decides, then that Shakti Aveshanama is equal to Krishna. According to realization of the person, in everything Krishna can be realized. Let's take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to see any mountain, he'll say, oh, this is Govardhana. To see the ocean is to this Yamuna. So these are the principles of Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva that the impersonalists, Mayavadis, they miss out, they don't understand. Their philosophy is very simple. All person means trouble. Rasa means trouble. Let us go into an existence of Nirguna Rasa, no personality, no energy. Then I am something. That something, the moment there is two, there is Rasa. Therefore it is monism, one. What is that one Nirguna Brahman? They can only say it is not this matter. That's all. It ends there. This is a philosophy. So easy. Negative philosophy. But whereas Vaishnava philosophy is explaining why all this variegatedness is there. Oh, there is a Lord and a display of his energy and I am his part and parcel. There are material variegatedness, there are spiritual variegatedness. The Lord has got internal energy, external energy. I am also his energy meant for his pleasure, for his purposes. Everybody in this material existence, everything in this material existence is meant for Anandamayobhyasat, which is his purpose, his plans, his desires, and to satisfy his pleasure. And his pleasure should not be misunderstood to be like our pleasure. We only know how to be self-centered pleasure. Krishna's pleasure is holistic pleasure. Krishna's pleasure includes all our pleasure. Not the way we think, not garbage pleasure. Oh, does Krishna include my illicit pleasures, sense pleasures? No, he doesn't include because there is no illusion in him. Why should he include illusory pleasures? All real pleasures, yes, that you and me can enjoy is included in him. So if we awaken ourselves, Krishna's enjoyment, Prabhupada explains, we are partakers of Krishna's pleasures. We are not independent enjoyers. It's not that we don't have a body, we don't have pleasures, but we are partakers of Krishna's prasadam. What Krishna gives to our senses, what Krishna gives, if Krishna gives me his sight, his beautiful sight, then it is prasadam pleasure, seeing pleasure. If Krishna gives me his hearing of his Shuddha Nama, it is his mercy of giving me pleasure, prasadam pleasure. If he is giving me a powerful situation for serving the Lord, it is his power pleasure, power prasadam. If he is giving me transcendental intelligence to separate matter and spirit, then it is knowledge prasadam that Krishna is giving. So we are entitled to enjoy power, knowledge. We are entitled to enjoy love. We are entitled to enjoy pleasures, but only prasadam pleasures. What is characteristic of prasadam pleasures? You don't seek and you don't grab it. You don't chase it. You chase Krishna's happiness, Krishna's pleasure. And what is the attitude of dealing with prasadam pleasures? Receiving it with gratitude. Just like we are practicing ourselves, prasadam for our tongue. Understand the meaning of that song, prasadam song. In that attitude, your tongue can enjoy. And that is also not the goal of devotee. Goal of devotee is not my pleasure. By the way, my pleasure is love of Krishna. Whether pleasure or pain, I want to serve my Lord. My criterion to serve the Lord is not my prasadam pleasures. Not to seek prasadam pleasures. My criterion to serve the Lord is to please the Lord. And if He gives, yes, you take it and you reinvest it in Krishna's. So prasadam, nicely, tasty prasadam, you eat as much as you need for serving. Prasadam is very tasty, you overeat so that you spoil your stomach. Misuse of prasadam, again. So handling prasadam pleasure also is very important, because you filter it through whether it disturbs my service to the Lord. Because service to the Lord, His pleasure is number one. For His pleasure, yes. If I don't eat, I will not be serving Him. There is no body strength. If I don't take care of my body, if I harm my body, then I am not able to give pleasure to the Lord through my service. So I have to take care of my body. As a master takes care of the servant's, master's property, the same way we also have to take. In this way, when we link ourselves with everything as a servant of Krishna, then we become anahankara. Actually, in a way, it is so simple. Relate with everything. In the material world, everybody relates with things. Hamare liye kya hai isme? What is there for me in it? Every decision. You put to a karmi one decision, something you ask, say yes or no. His thinking is, hamare liye kya hai? Only one attitude change is enough. In everything you ask this question, what is there for Guru and Krishna in this? Finish. There is only one formula for keeping our spiritual life pure always. Ask this question repeatedly in all situations. And then, when you say, okay, there's nothing in it for Guru and Krishna, you should drop it dead. That's where attachment comes. Our chittam has got attachment. You have to drop it dead. To drop it dead, when there is nothing for Guru and Krishna in it, to drop it dead, you have to feel love for Krishna. I'm not talking about prema. You have to understand that I am servant of Krishna. I have to serve Him. Forget prema. I am a loyal servant of Krishna. This is not pleasing to Krishna, I will not do. And then you see something in this, oh, oh, I will be detached from this. No. Every situation you should not simply think that it is, I will not enjoy it. You should always have the glass to see how it can be converted to Krishna's enjoyment. This is called Yukta Vairagya. In other words, the living entity as a Vaishnava does not spare anything from the servant, from service of the Lord, because everything belongs to the Lord. He reinterprets see, we have so many perceptions, people, things, situations, all these things. We see them. How do we see them? Our perception is distorted. I don't see with my eyes like a camera sees. A camera will see one gross body. But I see you not with this eyes, but with the mind's eyes, I see you. And I see you, and that how I see you depends upon my purpose of perception. So if we can control our purpose of perception, then we start perceiving everything as meant for Krishna. It is a practice we have to do. By default we see according to our desires, past desires. So devotion service in practice, this is a guideline that Guru has given. Accept things favorable for devotion service, reject things unfavorable for devotion service. Because the past conditioning is there. Our mind will say, accept this. Now you have to surrender. Surrender means practice this principle. What is there for Krishna in this? Yes, I accept. Mind comes up with something. Ask the question, what is there for Krishna in this? Yes, there is something. I'll find out, there is something. Just like a businessman, wherever he goes, he sees, is there money in it? Is there money in it? Is money in it? His perception is all based on, his world is distorted with money making. Whereas really everything and every situation is meant for God's pleasure because it is God's property. So therefore, to have the perception of what is there for Guru and Krishna in it, if we can practice that, our consciousness becomes pure. Free from lust. Definition of lust is, what is there in it for me? Definition of love is, what is there for Krishna? So when you want to practice what is there for Krishna, necessarily self-sacrifice is required. What is a self-sacrifice? False self-sacrifice. The false ego is sitting there, no, I want. Now you have to push it out. It wants sense gratification, you have to push it out. So if you have to push it out, it is called sacrifice. So there is no love without sacrifice. Love begins with sacrifice. Love begins with sacrifice of what all you think it is meant for your enjoyment. Sacrificing all that in the fire of Vishnu. They're all meant for your enjoyment. And finally, after all that, there is Atma Nivedana, self-surrender. Myself, what about all the things around me? Myself itself is your property, is meant only for. So you sacrifice the soul, then that is Priti, Prema. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, you said that a pure devotee has a pure perception because of which he is not contaminated. But in the case of sadhaka, his perception is not fully pure. So is it that only a pure devotee can dovetail everything in devotion service?
No,
Because
impure devotees can also dovetail impurely. That means
so there's
it's mixed.
contamination.
It is mixed.
So he gets contaminated by that?
Huh?
He gets contaminated. Sadhaka gets contaminated while dovetailing.
Yeah, he can only dovetail to the degree to which he has belief that it is meant for Krishna's pleasure. If you have mixed belief that it will give me pleasure also, just like if you are offering something to Krishna, you are cooking something for the Lord. Correct? In pure devotion service, no thought about, my enjoying the prasadam pleasure is there. He is not thinking, so I shall cook, I shall offer nice cake to Krishna. What is in his mind? I want to taste cake, so I'll offer cake to Krishna today. No doubt, nothing wrong. It's not like it is not demoniac. Pure devotion service is like pure milk. And this example I gave you is like watered milk. Watered milk. Watered milk is not dangerous. Slowly that, it will become pure milk. Okay. So, because why it is watered milk? Because you want, at least you are thinking Krishna should be happy. And then you are thinking, I also should enjoy that watered milk. Just like some devotee told, I was chanting and the devotee was also chanting and I was writing something. Prabhu, my chanting is disturbing you. I said, no, it's not disturbing me. You go on, Krishna is present. I am writing about him, Krishna is present. No, my chanting is demoniac chanting. Like lip, what is it? Milk touched by a serpent. I said, no, mistaken. When a Mayavadi chants, it is milk mixed with poison. Now you are chanting with so many ahankaras are there behind all those things. That is like watering the milk. So, no problem. I know what is coming out is watered milk. I'll go on chanting. I know it is not, there is no poison there. Because you are a devotee. There is no poison there. There is no poison there. Similarly, we should not think that this impure devotional service is like, it's a process. It's our dilution of self-interest in the past. Because of that, whatever little that I have to offer to Krishna, that has got the power to purify it. It just becomes water. Everything about false ego, selfish pleasure is poison, is sinful. Correct? But when it gets connected to Krishna, it gets purified, at least it becomes water. But slowly, it becomes thick milk. A pure devotional service. So Krishna accepts, whatever he wanted to offer me, he didn't want to eat without offering to me. Krishna gives credit for that, no? It's a big credit. He could have made a cake and he ate himself, no? But he said, no, I want to eat cake, so let me make cake and give it to Krishna and then eat. Credit, he gives credit for that. But we should know the standard of pure devotion service is the devotee is selflessly seeking Krishna's pleasure. Apna pleasure man mein aata hi nahi. No pleasure seeking for himself. And when Krishna forces pleasure on him, then he accepts it, provided it does not disturb his service to Krishna. There is service and there is rasa. Suppose I am getting a rasa in my service that is disturbing my service. It can, no, because you have to spend time enjoying the rasa. No, my attention is gone away. I should serve Krishna. Just like in Krishna book, Prabhupada explains how Rukmini, when she was fanning Krishna, suddenly she got so much ecstatic symptoms that her hand froze. So for her it is so much ecstasy. But she is telling, She's cursing herself. I've stopped my service because fanning is stopped. Because my limbs are all frozen by the ecstasy. So, this is the most prominent thing in the devotee's mind is Krishna's pleasure first. If prasadam pleasure helps me, I will take it. Otherwise, I'll continue my service. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय.